last batch of applesauce is all gone. So we're going to make another batch of applesauce. And this time I have 15 pounds of Gala apples. Local supermarket had the apples on sale. What's to lose? Okay, first thing we do is go through and do a quality check on apples. The bottom of one bag is a yucky apple. Trash. Now I'm going to go through and I'm just basically going to rinse the apples off, get any road dust or whatever. If there's any loose stems or leaves or anything like that, I'll pick them out. Set this one aside, I got a bad spot on it. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to quarter the apples. And of course we'll still continue our quality check, any bad apples. This apple had a little bad spot, we'll cut it out. And a pretty big bad spot. I'm just going to toss the whole apple. 2 out of the 15 pounds, not too bad. Don't have to take the seeds or the stems out, but if they're available to pull out, it may avoid a little trouble later. This batch of applesauce is almost double the last batch, so we had to bring out bigger pots. Most of the last batch walked out the door with friends and relatives. Oh, that's kind of a good sign that it was pretty good applesauce. We're down to the last apples here. All of the apples are pretty good except for the first couple that we culled out. But we have a very nice full pot of apples to make into applesauce. This is a thin walled pot, so we have to be careful heating it that we don't burn the apples. So what I do is I preheat the water a little bit, kind of speeds up the heating without getting the bottom too hot. So we're going to fill this up to about half full, which takes about 1 tea kettle's worth of water. Then we're going to set the pot on the flame at a medium heat. And we're going to cover, and now we wait. Okay, the apples have come to a boil. So we'll reduce the heat to low and simmer. And we'll set the timer for 20 minutes, and we'll come back and check them then. Okay, time is up. We'll check our apples. Oh, they're nice and soft, ready to go. So I'm going to take this pot off the stove, move it over here to the edge of the sink. So the apples can cool so that we can handle them without getting scalded. And then I'm going to put this pot back over onto the big burner. Okay, we're going to process the apples. There's a lot of way to process the apples. Great grandmother used to use a wooden spoon and a colander. That's pretty labor intensive. This unit here is an attachment for the grinder. It's basically a long auger with a screen, and then it has this little shield that goes on. And it separates the puree into one pot, and the waste product falls out here, the seeds and the skin and the stems. Okay, there's other units available, kind of hand crank units that look like this, but they're standalone, and food mills. There's a lot of ways to do this, but we're going to use the KitchenAid today. Apples go in. can see the waste product coming out here. And here you can see the apple puree is falling into the cooking pot. Well, we just take and keep adding the apples, and pretty soon we'll be ready to finish cooking them. Apples go in the top. When you're using your plunger, use just enough force to get it to catch the auger. Don't force the food. All of the apple peelings, seeds, stems, and pith come out of the discharge chute there into the bowl. And the goodness of the apple, the sauce, is coming out and into the cooking pot. Okay, we have the applesauce, nice golden applesauce. Well, maybe a little extra piece here and there. See, nice golden applesauce. We're going to now cook it. The cooking serves two purposes. It brings it back up to temperature for canning, and it also gets rid of a little bit of extra moisture, so it thickens it. This is a double batch from the other time, so we're going to put 1 cup of sugar in. You have to taste your applesauce to make sure just how sweet you want it. We're also going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. And 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Lemon juice boosts the acidity of the applesauce for canning. And 1/2 cup. There we go. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. This honey is from our friends, Ted and Ellie Sparakis, who keep bees on their llama farm that they have on an old tobacco plantation in North Carolina in the mountains. Delicious honey. But it adds just a little extra flavor to the applesauce. Also, we like a little cinnamon in our applesauce, but if you use ground cinnamon, it makes the applesauce kind of a yucky brown color. So we use cinnamon oil, very concentrated flavoring, like that is derived from cinnamon that they use in candy making. And for this double batch, we'll use about 12 drops. Now just about a dropper full. Okay, there we go. Like always, we have the basic ingredients in here. We're going to cook it for a little bit to bring it up to temperature, but we will taste it. See if we need a little more sugar, a little more cinnamon. But this is cooking over a low heat just to bring it back up to temperature for canning and boil off a little water. Use the dishwasher to kind of prep on the sanitation. We've got a rack which is pretty close to sterile. We've got our tools. And we have some bottles. I'm going to start out with 7 pint jars. I don't know exactly how many pints this will make, but I have a lot of extra jars in here just in case. Okay, these jars are actually in the dishwasher from last night. So we're going to give them a little extra soaking, which is the normal way to do the jars. Give them a few minutes in the boiling water in the canner. And we'll give that a few minutes. Okay, that's 5 minutes. We're going to take the jars out. Okay, I'm going to turn the bottles over. Be careful, they're screaming hot. Just get any water to drain out. Okay. Okay, back up. I'm going to take and just dip my ladle spoon here. Just a little rinse. And the same with my funnel. Kind of give it a good cleaning up here. Okay. Our applesauce has cooked down. We're stirring it to keep it from burning, and it's thickened up very nice, a very nice thick applesauce. So fire's off, and over here we're going to start filling jars. I have my lids already soaking in hot water, and I have my little magnet pickup ready to go. I went ahead and put the rings in the dishwasher as well. You can reuse the rings, but the lids themselves have to be brand new each time. Okay, jar, funnel, ladle, and you fill the jar until you're right at the bottom of the ring on the funnel. This canner has a rack which will accommodate 7 jars, so we'll do them in batches of 7. Here we are with our last jar. With a moist paper towel, just go around the edge to make sure you get any possible applesauce off the edge. You don't want that under the sealing edge of the lid. All right. The rings go on. Get a glove on, the bottles are hot. The rings go on just a snug, back off, and then turn it till it just touches. You want to leave enough room for steam to escape so it'll form the vacuum in the jar when it cools. Okay, our last jar. And now we get the carrier rack to go into the boiling water canner. Twin bottles, okay. Water is at a full boil. Take your rack and very carefully lower the bottles in. And you have about 1 inch of water over the top. Put the cover on. Continue heating until it comes back to a full boil. Set the timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, our time is up.
Remove the lid. Carefully lift your jars out. And we'll set our jars over on the rack here to cool. One's already started sealing. You have to be careful with jars when they're first out of the hot water bath. You don't set them on a cold surface. A abrupt change in temperature can sometimes break the glass, so that's why you put them on a cooling rack. Okay, there's our first 7 jars of applesauce. I'll put a few more jars in the water for the next batch.